Welcome to another episode of the Metal Evangelist. This is my top 40 metal albums of 2017 countdown, so let's just get right into it. Coming in at number 40 is some Slovenian thrash metal from Eruption. This is Cloaks of Oblivion. It's their third album overall. Came out on Extreme Music. This is similar to, say, Sanctuary or Heathen, more kind of 80s Bay Area thrash metal. There's the CD on the inside. And I'll show you a picture of the band. Just some great vocal performance. Kind of sounds like worlding. Good riffs, just solid all around. Eruption with Cloaks of Oblivion. Coming in at number 39 is some D-beat hardcore from here in Minneapolis. This is Hive with Parasitic Twin. This vinyl was put out by Crown and Thorn Records. There's a logo for that. This is some pretty good stuff. The drumming's amazing. The guitars are kind of that down-tuned, crusty HM2 sound. This is the red vinyl. We got the double side on the other side. The vocals are really growly and rough. They're a little low in the mix at times, and this album gets some longer songs on here, which is not normal for most hardcore, I'd say. So it kind of slows the album down in the middle, but overall it's pretty darn good. So make sure to insert. We got this on the other side. So that's Hive with Parasitic Twin, number 39. On my countdown. Coming in at number 38, got some death metal from Vancouver. This is Resurgence. The name of the album is Besieged. This is more of a modern sounding, kind of thrashier, sort of groovy death metal. Sometimes the vocals reminded me of Lamb of God, but they sound better than actual Lamb of God vocals. If you like Cannibal Corpse, you probably like this one. There's lots of cool solos and crazy riffs. This one is self-released disc. Resurgence, the name of the band. Some of the artwork, guys on the inside. You can find this one on Bandcamp, and as always, I'll have links to all this stuff in the description, so you can go hear more. But that's my 38. This is Resurgence with Besieged. Let's see. Coming in at 37, we've got some more death metal, this time from Indiana. We're talking about Invasion. The album's called Destroyer of Mankind. And you know, this one was put out by Abyss Records. Also from Indiana. You know how a lot of death metal bands from Europe have a war theme because they were in that when it happened? Well, Invasion is kind of like America's version of a war album. They've got just a tension that builds up when you listen to these songs and these riffs. There's quotes, or not quotes, audio snippets from the president at the time talking about who's attacking through, and it just kind of takes you back in time and how scary that was in World War II. So, really solid, old school sound on this one. So that's 37, Invasion. with Destroyer of Mankind. Coming in at 36, got another record to show off, another Minneapolis-based band. This is United Teachers of Music, and the album is called Dreams of Beasts Must Die. This is a self-released LP. Here's the back. Pretty cool. These guys play heavy metal, but with sort of a punk flair. I kind of like to describe them as kind of Iron Maiden meets the Dead Kennedys. The vocal style is pretty great. It's sort of like Jello Biafra a little bit, but I got lyrics on this side, and it's a standard black vinyl. Pretty heavy feel to it. There's the songs on this side, and then got the lamp off on the other. But yeah, these guys are local to Minneapolis, and I saw them live recently. They put on a really great show. This is only available on LP. There's no CDs for this one, so that's that's a sturgeon, by the way. These guys are big into fishing. That's kind of how the idea of this band was hatched. They were out fishing. They thought, we need to teach these kids how to play music. So United Teachers of Music, and that's a sturgeon. They love to fish. So yeah. Moving on. Number 35, another CD. This is Skeletal with Dreadful Life. This was released by Inverse Records. This is a Finnish band. They play kind of a death thrash hybrid. Kind of crude packaging on this one, but the album is pretty awesome. There's a lot of Slayer influence that I hear in the riffs from these guys. We got a music video for it, the first song, which is really powerful. It's got that dry-throated, kind of raspy growl, just lyrics in here. Nothing too special. There's guys hanging out at a restaurant. So that's my number 35 album on my countdown for 2017. Skeletal with Dreadful Life. Coming in at number 34, we've got some death metal from Greece. This is Resurgence. Resurgency. We already had Resurgence. This is their sophomore album. This one came out on FDA Records. And it's just really old school Florida type of sound on this one. Kind of reminds me of bands like Brutality and Monstrosity. Just tons of riffs going on. This artwork here is pretty amazing if you get a close-up shot of that. But yeah, Resurgency. If you're into the old school style of death metal, you'll definitely want to go this one. It's got lyrics and stuff inside. So that's number 34. Coming in at 33, we've got something from Unspeakable Acts Records. This is Acabas. This is some Chilean black metal. Album's called Nocturnal Majestic Mysteria. And this one's a bit unique because the very first track is like an 8-minute intro with orchestration and whatnot. But then it really kicks in with a bunch of riff-centric songs. Just great black metal. They've got some like chanting, throaty vocals here and there that they throw in to break things up. You kind of hear some varied guitar tones between the songs too, which is nice. But yeah, this is a hell of a record. Acabas with Nocturnal Majestic Mysteria. Coming in at 32 is the sophomore album from Woad called Servants of the Counter Cosmos. This came out on Avant-Garde Music. And of course this is the Digipack version. Opens up, you don't have a photo of that on the side. And this is some killer black metal. It's got an organic feel to the production, almost like they just sat down in a room and recorded it live. I've also got the vinyl version of this one to show off. Pretty epic scene right there. And this is the limited edition color maroon, reddish maroon. So yeah, this was in their debut album was in my top 40 from last year and this year. World Servants of the Countercosmos. Okay, coming in at 31, we've got I believe the sophomore album from Southern California's Brood. This is Remnants. More death metal in the vein of the old school. This one sounds a little more like early Death, like Morgoth, with that Mark Brewery kind of growling going on. The early Pestilence. This one's put out by FDA Records again. Got the old school shiny disc, which I love. Kind of throwback. Here's the guys hanging out at a harbor. But there's just great riffs, varied tempos. It's not blasting all the time. Some cool cover art on the front. Some more of it here in the middle. I believe this is Seagrave and Seagrave artwork. I could be mistaken. I didn't do all my homework on this. But yeah, just lyrics inside. This is killer death metal. Rude with Remnants. Okay, coming in at number 30, we've got some more death metal, but this is from France. Fractal Universe with Engram of Decline. This is kind of a progressive, modern, catchy, polished sort of band. Kind of reminds me of Augury or Borgira or Obscura, that kind of thing. We got Colony Records put this one out. Sorry, I keep looking over there. That's where the monitor is. I can see if I have it framed up in the shot. There's the inside of this digipack. Picture the guy right there. Yeah, this is one of those you put it on and at first you're like, it might be a little too modern for me, but then you kind of get into it. It actually gets a little heavier and really catchy tunes, good stuff. The Fractal Universe with Engram of Decline. That's my number 30 album of 2017. Coming in at number 29, we've got some more black metal. This is Dumal with The Lesser God, and this is 2018's answer to Magla. 2017's answer was Uada, but this is your next version. This is a self-released album. I do not understand how this is self-released. It is really good. I got mine signed by the band when I ordered it. And I think this first pressing was only like 500 copies and it sold out pretty quick. It looks like a CD art, but it doesn't matter. I think they made a second pressing and that one sold out too. I would really like to get this one on vinyl. Somebody like Season of Mist should pick these guys up and put out their records because they just got great atmosphere, awesome songs, just evil sound, but I don't know, great stuff from Dumal, The Lesser God. Okay, coming in at number 28, Mortiskull reactivated recently, and they put out this comeback album called Wounds Deeper Than Time. It's kind of an update to their old school sound, where they keep the same vibe, but it's just better production. Phil put this one out, just like their old records. And what else to say about it? Yeah, there's just killer headbangable riffs on this one. There's the guys. Yes. So yeah, great comeback album. I've been jamming this one all year. Mortis called Wounds Deeper Than Time. Next, we've got some more death metal. This one's from Italy. Hideous Divinity with Advenians. This is some progressive, techie kind of death metal. Let's see, Unique Leader put this one out. Some killer artwork on there. Just if you like your death metal brutal, but not like slamming brutal or whatever, not over the top, still have some musicality in there, some good soloing, great riffs. Hideous Divinity should be in your wheelhouse. You probably already have this one. I think it's their third album. So that's number 27 on my countdown. 26, we've got some thrash metal from Lich King, the Omniclasm, which I still don't understand what that's supposed to mean. But, I don't know, still a good record. This one's self-released. Just some crazy, insane, fast riffs, tongue-in-cheek. Well, these guys, they've always had a sense of humor. They have some tongue-in-cheek songs, which I think are a little too early in the record, because they've got some really more serious stuff with tracks like Our Time to Riot and I'll Take the Paycheck is more about old thrash bands that should have quit a long time ago, just going through the motions. But yeah, this is a really good record. Mike Dreer, who plays bass with Condition Critical, plays bass on this record, and it's got some tones that D.D. Burney from Overkill would be jealous of. So, Lich King, great thrash metal record. The Omniclasm at number 26. 25, we've got some death grind from San Francisco. This is Cartilage with Dialect of the Dead. My throat is starting to hurt, so bear with me. This is some awesome death grind. Kind of sounds like a mix between 80s Carcass and newer Cattle Decapitation. Here's the members. I got this one autographed through the mail too. They are a 5-piece band at this point, and have been playing shows. Hopefully they'll be touring in 2018. But there's a great guitar riffs, a lot of energy. I like the vocals too, where you got your guttural and then your high-pitched screams, and very in between the songs. So that's my number 25 with Cartilage, Dialect of the Dead. At 24, we've got another record, and this is just an amazing amount of artwork. You see this one online, and you don't get the lettering that's on here. It's kind of glossy. You can see that. Yeah, it's the name of the band, Glossy, right there. There's 3 columns, but the name of this band is Tyrannosaurus, which is kind of the craziest name I've ever heard. So this one is black metal from Dallas, Texas, of all places, which is just insane. This has your cavernous vocals. There's the guy over there. Sorry about that. You got cavernous vocals, very rhythmic riffs, lots of blast beats. But then that's all in the first song, which is about 8 minutes. And then the second song kind of slows down quicker than I'd like this album to. It has a really long kind of acoustic style, clean guitar intro. But it picks back up pretty well. This is a double LP. I'll show you one of these bad boys. Silver gray. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's the etched D side. You're not going to be able to see that on camera, I don't think, but it's like a bone pentagram or decagram, I can't tell. There's a lot of points on it. But yeah, this is kind of like a marble gray. And you can only get this one on vinyl. There's not a CD pressing of it. I should probably mention who put this out. It's called This record label, not only is this name of this band just ridiculous, but awesome, Tyrannosaurus. It's put out by Tofu Carnage Records, which I gotta imagine is some drunk vegans just murdering some tofu when they get hungry and need some munchies. So yeah, this is just a ridiculous presentation for an album. So if you like black metal, you should do yourself a favor and pick this one up. It's pretty limited and still available, which is ridiculous. So yeah, Tyrannosaurus, that's my number 24. Coming in at 23 is good old Cannabis Corpse with their newest album, Left Hand Pass. And at this point, Season of Mist put this one out. At this point, I like Cannabis Corpse more than Cannibal Corpse, honestly. I mean, the ridiculousness. Do you see that artwork right there? Landfill, and passing to the left to this crazy evil monster that's killing his friends. Like, if you're gonna be over the top and just, I don't know, there should be some humor in it. I love this picture. There's his cat is trying to get the monster on the disc. But I mean, the production on this album is just flawless. Like, the riffs are crazy, the vocals are awesome, the drumming is amazing. I just can't get enough of Cannabis Corpse. I mean, the album before this one was not my favorite, but this one is right up there with two that are resonated. It's got things here, but yeah. As soon as I heard this one, I'm like, oh yeah, that's one of my favorites for sure. And I went back and listened again, and oh yes, definitely. So number 23, Cannabis Corpse with Left Hand Pass. Let's see, what do we got? Number 22 from Dark Descent Records is Desolate Shrine with Deliverance from the Godless Void. This is some not quite cavernous death metal like some of those other bands like Portal. I was out there, it's black face. But it's somewhat cavernous with the vocals and the down-tuned riffs. This is very heavy and crushing with the down-tuned guitars. And it's, I don't know, quite the air-sucking journey. I don't know why this is just black. Why do you guys put in these cases that show nothing? I don't know. I doubt there's any pictures in here. We'll see. Oh yeah, some creepy pictures. But yeah, this is one of many Dark Descent releases that I dug this year. This one made my list at number 22, Desolate Shrine. 21 is an awesome band from Southern California. It's Madrost. Put out their third album this year called The Essence of Time Matches No Flesh. This is self-released. And this is kind of like one of those bands that took Death's Sound of Perseverance and used that as their jumping off point, because it's thrash metal, but it's really aggressive and got some nice signatures on there. It's really aggressive and kind of technical riffing that borders on death metal, but isn't pure death metal at all. More thrashy. So yeah, this is a hell of an album. It hasn't been getting as much praise as it should. But, and there's also a lot of clean guitar passages to help with the atmosphere and kind of break up the speed of the album. So yeah, Essence of Time Matches No Flesh, number 21 on my list. Coming in at number 20, we've got another Minnesota band. This is Amiensis with All Paths Lead to Death. This one came out on Apophia Records from France. These guys are from Rochester, Minnesota, and they're kind of known as an atmospheric black metal band. But it's an EP length song-wise, but it's a full length in time-wise. It's almost 20 minutes, I think. This is really heavy. It's in like behemoth, blackened death metal territory, and there's just some amazing riffs. The vocals that James Benson puts on his albums are just some of the best I've heard. So definitely check this one out if you're into black metal that's really heavy, kind of sounds like behemoth. This is Metal Evangelist with All Paths Lead to Death. Coming in at 19, we've got some heavy metal from Chicago. This is Satan's Hallow. The CD version was released by Underground Power Records, which is from Europe somewhere. And this is woman-fronted heavy metal. There's the band members. Just amazing vocals. It's got great killer riffs. A lot of people were comparing this to like Dio, 80s Dio, if Dio was a female. Yeah, killer record. Some artwork under the disc. And I just couldn't resist with how good that one was. Had to pick up the vinyl version of it as well. And this one, again, was Underground Power Records out of Germany. Here's the back. And my copy, I don't know if you can see this, my copy is numbered. Let's see it. But it's numbered AF0 out of 500. There it is. Someone tell me what number that is? I have no idea. But anyway, yeah, Satan's Hallow, sorry, pretty awesome band, and I think this is just, yeah, it's your standard black vinyl. Number 19 on the list, self-titled Satan's Hallow. Let's go number 18. Got another Dark Descent album. This is Sarcasm with Within the Spheres of Eternal Minds. Now, Sarcasm was one of those Swedish bands that put out some demos and went away. Dark Descent re-released their demos on CD, or it was actually an unreleased album that they put out a couple years back, and this is some melodic death metal from Sweden, and this is their official debut album all these years later in 2017, and it will transport you straight back to 1995, where At the Gates and all those bands, In Flames, were actually good. Remember that? If you want to travel back in time to that era of music, get this album. And I also picked up the vinyl version of Dark Descent because that artwork is crazy, and this vinyl is pretty awesome too. Got like a red and yellow merge. Inside, crazy good stuff from Dark Descent Records. That's Sarcasm, Within the Sphere of Eternal Minds, my number 18 favorite album of 2017. Coming in at number 17 is some death metal from Lincoln, Nebraska, of all places. This is Garroted with Abyssal Blood Sacrifices. And this is self-released. Some amazing death metal, really high quality songwriting, great production, and this is the Florida style of death metal these guys are playing. If you're it's a very tiny picture of it right there. if you're into Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel, you're going to want this album. That's my number 17, Garroted with Abyssal Blood Sacrifices. Coming down to 16, got some death thrash from Sweden. This is the sophomore album from Vampire. This has got a little bit more melody from the first album, I think, but a really great 80s vibe in the production and the songwriting. This digipack opens up this, not quite the inverted cross of other digipacks I've seen, but still pretty cool. And again, I couldn't just stop at this. I really wanted to get the vinyl version of it, and this is not available in the United States. I had to import it from Europe, even though it's on Century Media Records, so that sucks. But it's a pretty sweet gatefold. There's the band on the forest, and it comes with this giant booklet. That dude has a different. And you've got the lyrics written in calligraphy and all these awesome pieces of artwork to go with each song. So this is some killer presentation here for this Vampire record. Yeah, this is one of those where I heard it early on in the year and I was like, yeah, that's really good. I think that'll be in. And didn't listen to it for a while, and it kind of dropped off on my list, and I went back and thought, I should check this out again just to make sure it's not worthy of the top 40. And I was like, oh yes, this needs to be on the list, and it made it all the way up to 16 when all of a sudden. So, Vampire with Primeval Force. I'm starting to lose my voice. But we shall soldier on. 15, Acrimonious. 11 Dragons. This is a black death metal band from Greece. This was put out by World Terrorism Committee, and this has just got some amazing production. You can hear all the instruments perfectly, especially the bass. The bass player puts on a great performance on this album. Side. And yeah, just kind of almost progressive touches in the songs and the riffs. It's not your standard just pound away and shriek kind of black metal. The vocals are really good. They have kind of that Scandinavian vibe to them, where they're not really raspy. They're more growled, but not death metal growl. So really thick booklet on this one. Lots of cool artwork. So yeah, I also had to import this one from Europe. Couldn't find it in the States. That's Acrimonious with 11 Dragons. Next, we've got some technical thrash metal from the Ukraine. This is Bestial Invasion with Contra Omnes. And if you are a fan of Confessor or Watchtower or Toxic, take note of this one, because when I say technical thrash, I don't mean like, oh yeah, they kind of put in some flourishes that are technical or whatever. No, this is straight on, ridiculous, over the top, shrieking vocals, crazy guitar riffs, heavy guitar riffs too, fretless bass player that is all over the place, and in your face with the bass, a la Chuck D. And the second song, the solo that kicks in, the guitar solo is an acoustic guitar, and it just shreds. You gotta hear it to believe it. So Number 14 is Bestial Invasion with Contra Overlords. Crazy good record. Coming in at 13 is Kansas City, Missouri's Hyborian. This is Hyborian Volume 1. And before you shout at me and say, hey, that's a 2018 release that Season of Mist is putting out, sorry, no. This was kind of self-released in 2017 by the band. They just put it out on vinyl, and it's so good that Season of Mist picked it up and is re-releasing it. So this is the first press. This is just some heavy, driving metal. They kind of, I've seen them describe themselves as doom. They're not slow enough for that. They are way too fast to be called doom, although the vocals kind of hint at that. There's that black vinyl. And the vocals also have that kind of Mastodon vibe. I don't know how to explain it in words, but it's similar to Mastodon. Yeah, they're cheap, nothing too fancy there. But every song on this is just really good. If you like just no frills, fist in the air, pounding drums, awesome guitar riffs, you want Hyborian. Number 13. Okay, coming in at number 12, we've got Substratum with self-titled album Substratum. This came out on Swords and Chains Records. This is some woman-fronted heavy metal with a ton of attitude. The vocals on this are just crazy. There's a lot of Iron Maiden influence on this album, but a little bit heavier inside. Very authentic 80s sound on this one. There's the nice picture of the band. This came out very early in 2017, like the first week, so it's almost a 2016 release, but it's 2017. And since it came out, they've put out a split 10-inch, a cassette demo, and they just released another album in January of 2018. So this one's almost on the old side, but this is a killer record. So Substratum, self-titled, number 12. Coming in at 11, we got some more Dark Descent. How about some Gorephilia? Severed Monolith. This is just heavy as hell production and songs. See you guys in the back there. Blair. Well, that's C-3PO. Creepy face. Yeah, I mean, what else to say about this? I think the way that I describe it is kind of a blend of Incantation and Nile, but the blend doesn't sound like either one of those bands. And I am very sad to say that I do not have the vinyl version of this. I slept on it, and Dark Descent has been sold out. I should probably get one through Discogs, but I just haven't yet, but it's on my to-do list. So that's number 11, Gorephilia with Severed Monolith. We've reached the top 10 of the Metal Evangelist countdown. And before I get into the top 10, why not just plug my radio show? I do a radio show called Roar of the Underground on KFAI in Minneapolis. I broadcast live on Saturday mornings when you're probably asleep, but we do have an online archive. If you go to kfai.org and search for Roar of the Underground, you can listen to last week's episode for the next 2 weeks and listen to it anytime you'd like. So, getting into the top 10, this is one I discovered not too long ago, came out later in the year, Sanhedrin, A Funeral for the World. This is a self-released album. These guys are from Brooklyn, New York, and this is also woman-fronted heavy metal. Riffs for days, hooks everywhere. I got some autographs on it when I ordered it. Cool CD. Great choruses. I mean, this band, they are kind of more the early 80s and 70s brand of metal. especially Black Sabbath, some Judas Priest in here. And the riff for the title track, Funeral for the World, sounds like it was penned by Tony Iommi himself. It is ridiculous. And they also released this one on vinyl, and it's so good I just had to get this copy too, and it's one of my favorite colors of vinyl, that being the Coke bottle green. Not a fan of clear vinyl, like crystal clear, see-through, but I like the transparent colors. I don't know, something about Coke bottle green is just really cool. So that is my number 10 album of 2017, Sanhedrin, with A Funeral for the World. Coming in at number 9, we got some thrash metal from Vancouver, Canada. This is Terrifier with Weapons of Mass Destruction. This came out on... well, it was self-released. No, it's not self-released. There's a logo on here that is so small, I cannot read. Oh yeah, Test Your Metal Records. You're not even see it. Way down there. But back to the music. I mean, you got Andrei Buzikov's cover art, and pretty much what is happening on that cover is how this album sounds. Just awesome riffs, amazing solos. The lead guitar playing on this is just killer. There you guys. The snarly kind of vocal delivery that you want from your thrash metal. Got a few of the guys to sign it. I think they've had some lineup changes since this came out. But just over the top aggression from this album. And if you're disappointed in some of the other thrash that came out this year, like Overkill and Creator, yeah, you can whet your appetite with Terrifier. Awesome stuff. Number 9. Number 8 is some doom metal from Sweden of the epic variety. It's Below Upon a Pale Horse, and these guys make no mistake that they are an homage to Candlemass with epic riffs, slow brooding tempos and killer melodies, and the guy's voice on this is just incredible. He's got he can do the falsettos like you couldn't believe, but he just puts them in at the right time where they have a really high impact. Picture the band. This one came out on Metal Blade Records. It's their second album, actually. So that is my drops. Number 8 album of 2017 is Below Upon a Pale Horse. Coming in at number 7, we've got Vulture with their debut full-length The Guillotine. This one was released by HR. I can't remember what HR is. HR Records. It's not Hammerheart. Well, having a brain fart. Anyway, this is some killer speed metal from Germany. You've probably heard of this one. It's getting a lot of praise. It's well worth it. Very throwback 80s sound on this one. Cool. More cool artwork. You got the shrieking vocals like Agent Steel, galloping riffs, pounding drums, rototoms. There's some 80s synths intros going on. So had to grab a copy of this on wax as well. The artwork is just ridiculous, but awesome. I mean, that's a guillotine. It's being struck by lightning. So not only is it going to sever your head, it's going to electrocute you at the same time. Talk about overkill. Here's the guys in the back. And I think this is your standard black. Standard classic black vinyl. So, High Roller, that's what it is. HR's High Roller record. Sorry. So, Killer Release, Vulture, Speed Metal, High Roller Records, number 7. Number 6 is some local metal here in Minneapolis. This band's called Etheric. Serpents Beneath the Shrine is the name of the album. And you've probably never heard of these guys because this is self-released. And there's a lot of songs, and there is no filler on this record. It is brutal, it is progressive, it is technical. This is some killer death metal. There's the name of the guys. Disc itself. Eric Keys has a really good vocal delivery where he can do the guttural and also the kind of higher screech as well. So he mixes it up quite a bit, and it's not monotonous or boring like some death metal bands can be. The soloing and the guitar riffs on this are crazy. One of them really reminds me of Nevermore. So yeah, Etheric, can't say enough good things about this album. Number 6, Serpents Beneath the Shrine. Number 5, shouldn't be a big surprise. It's Spectral Voice with Eroded Corridors of Undo. This is the first press CD that comes in a slipcase, and this is, I don't know if you can see it, it's embossed. There's a little embossed skull on the back too. So you slide this out, you got your normal cover art there. And this is doomy death metal from Colorado. Lots of atmosphere, lots of different ambient passages in between the songs. Nice silver disc from Dark Descent Records. The very heavy down-tuned guitars, just inhumanly low growls on this one. Also got the vinyl copy, and this one's kind of different. It's there's the back. Up evidence. It opens up, but it's not really a gatefold. It's just got this one single cardboard that opens, and then here's a photo of the band, and then the record comes out this way, which is kind of weird, a little bit annoying. But this is the first pressing limited edition, and it comes with this cool booklet with lots of crazy artwork in it. There's another photo of the band on the back, and there's no lyrics. There's just like pictures for each song. Actually, that might be lyrics. Some of it is. Some of it's just a maze. But yeah, I'm not going to give all this away right here. You should pick this up and see for yourself. So that is my number 5 album of 2017. Spectral Voice, Eroded Corridors of Undo. Alright. Number 4 was kind of a surprise for me because I was not familiar with this band, even though this is their second album. But it's Attic with Sanctimonious. And it looks like this is a black and white picture, but if you look in the corner, those trees are green and those nuns have flesh tones. But yeah, this is a heavy metal band from Germany that makes no bones about being an homage to King Diamond and Merciful Fate. Their first record was good. This one is classic. The guy nails the vocals, the vocal style that King Diamond does. I mean, if you were wishing there was a different album put out from the 80s of Merciful Fate or King Diamond, just get this. Like, if you're not a fan of the newer stuff, this is it. I mean, you've got, it's a concept album with an amazing storyline, very creepy, but based in real life. This is put out by Von Records. There's a tombstone with some death dates on there, which you can kind of imagine has to do with the story. But it's based at this convent. You open up the gatefold, and there's like a map of the grounds. It's just a ridiculous presentation for this vinyl. Excellent riffs that never seem to stop. They just keep coming. This one is a double LP, white vinyl, and there's like a storybook. Well, there's a big poster I'm not going to pull out with the band standing next to a church, but there's like a 12 by 12 booklet that you can read along as the story goes, with all kinds of awesome artwork. So I mean, this isn't so much an album as it is an event or a novel you can sit down and enjoy visually and orally. So yeah, so that's why this is number 4 on my list. This is Attic with Sanctimonious. Alright, coming in at, sorry about that, number 3, more Dark Descent. This is Frenolith with Desolate Endscape. This is some death metal from Denmark. Pretty classic, simple presentation on the CD. This is some filthy, raw death metal. Touch of doom in some of the songs, and just a pinch of prog here and there in some of the riffs. This is one of those ones where I put it on and I just have to listen to the whole thing. And there's also a sweet vinyl version of this, which was released by Meisako and Ojo. Lyric sheets, picture of the band, and let's just double check, but I think this is black. Yep, your standard classic evil black. So I just kept going back to this one. Some people would tell me that Untergang was far superior. I listened to both records, and for me, it's Frenolith all the way. So that's why they're way up at number 3 on my list of 2017. Getting down to number 2. This should be no surprise. It's Sunless with Yaraka. This is death metal from Minneapolis, but you can hardly call it death metal. It's progressive, avant-garde, extreme metal, insane vocals, crazy tempos, awesome drumming inside. This is the first press digipack that is sold out. There's a second press that's more of a digi sleeve, but it has a bit different artwork on it. This one's self-released. I've seen these guys 2 or 3 times this past year. They are amazing. It's just a trio. Huge sound for 3 guys. Mind-bending riffs. The bass guitar is high up in the mix and plays riffs on its own, separate from the guitar. It's just awesome. These guys are killer. We're working on a second album already. I'm not going to say who's putting it out, but someone's putting it out. And at the end of last year, Yaraka was released on vinyl by Aro Music out of Europe, and this one just kind of hit the States recently, and I was lucky enough to pick it up in time to make this video. Forward here. And even better, we've got a sleeve has all the lyrics to the songs on it, and you see in the top there, it says if you read the lyrics, the songs in a certain order, it tells a concept story. And this one is this crazy purple vinyl, which matches the artwork pretty awesome. So I've been high on this record since it came out early in 2017, and it just gets better every time you listen to it because there's something else to find in amongst all the chaos that brings. So if you're into like the new sound from Gore Guts, Buried Teeth, or those kind of bands, you're going to want Sunless. You probably already heard of it, but that's my number 2 album. And down to number 1, just got a little bit of voice left to get this one out, but it shouldn't be a surprise. It's Suffering Hour with In Passing Ascension. This is another trio. 2 of the guys are from here in Minneapolis. One moved to Colorado, the guitarist. This came out on Blood Music earlier in the year, and lucky enough to see these guys play twice now. Got their autograph. Killer artwork. This album is just full of guitar wizardry. I mean, the stuff that is being done on here, when you think about it, like, it should not work, but it does. Like, you're almost going off the rails, but then it just makes sense. So I actually got the CD second at the first show where they played, but I had to pre-order this from Blood Harvest. You've got, I don't know, it's refined but raw. Oh wow, I forgot there's this sticker here. There's a dual vocal style from Dylan, the vocalist, who also produced the album, and this is black with a silver splatter. Pretty ridiculous. Again, one of my favorites of 2017, and the reason is because you can't just listen to like one song. I would go like preview a track for maybe my radio show and end up listening to the whole rest of the album. It's that good. And the drumming has got that kind of like thrashy Dave Lombardo galloping style, and then the blast beats get thrown in here and there for effect, so it's not just blasting away at you the whole time. This is, I mean, I don't know. When I first heard about these guys, well, I had their debut EP, and they said they were influenced by The Chasm, which is one of my favorite bands, kind of progressive, evil death metal. And that album, you know, they're just starting out, getting their sound down, but then, I mean, this kind of surpasses what The Chasm is doing. Just ridiculous riffs, and they're so unique, it's so kind of exotic, it just kind of blows your mind. So there's really never any doubt this is going to be my number 1 album for 2017. So here we are at the end of the video. I'm going to go do something about my throat, but thank you for making it this far, and I'm going to promise to make more than 1 video a year in 2018, since I got my crappy little webcam set up here, which is a lot easier than the old way I was doing things. So, thanks again. Until next time, denounce all gods and worship metal.